Imagine just packing up, leaving everything behind, and heading off on a trip, like the length of the entire planet. And doing it without a single map, no compass, nothing. Long before humans even figured out the world wasn't flat, animals were already doing this. Global travel.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Just
Yeah.
programmed instincts for these incredible journeys.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting right into one of nature's most amazing feats, animal migration.
We're going to explore the how, the why, and some of the truly extreme examples of creatures traveling across entire continents and oceans.
Right. And maybe the first thing to really nail down is what we mean by migration, especially for vertebrates. It's not just wandering off.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be seasonal, and crucially, it has to involve a return trip. No one-way tickets in this game. It's a cycle.
A round trip.
Yeah.
Got it. So, okay, how, if they don't have GPS, no Google Maps,
Yeah.
how on earth are they navigating these huge distances? What's built in?
Well, they've got this incredible internal toolkit, kind of like built-in compasses.
Yeah, the first big one is the magnetic compass. They can actually sense the Earth's magnetic field to orient themselves.
Wait, the Earth's magnetic field, that sounds complex. Is it just like pointing north? Or is there more to it?
Oh, much more. That's what makes it so sophisticated. They're not just sensing direction like a simple compass needle.
Uh-huh.
They're sensing multiple things. Some, like sea turtles, use the field's intensity at strength. Think of it like lines of latitude on a map.
Okay.
Others also use the inclination, that's the angle the magnetic field lines dip towards the Earth.
Right.
So by combining intensity and inclination where they are, they can basically build a magnetic map. It tells them where they are globally. It's both a compass and sort of a natural GPS.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just direction, it's location too. How do they sense it?
Well, the exact mechanisms are still being researched, but it seems to involve tiny iron particles in certain tissues, or maybe even, get this, chemical reactions happening in special cells in their eyes, triggered by light and magnetism.
In their eyes. That's incredible. Far more advanced than just north. Okay, so what about other guides? You mentioned a toolkit.
Exactly. If they're active during the day, they might use the sun compass.
Right.
But this isn't just glancing at the sun. They have to combine seeing the sun's position with a very precise internal clock, a circadian rhythm.
So they need to know where the sun is, but also where it should be at that exact time of day to account for its movement across the sky.
Precisely. They're constantly calculating to maintain the right heading as the sun moves. It's complex stuff.
Huh. What happens if it's cloudy?
That can definitely make it harder, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why many animals likely use multiple systems redundancy. But that internal clock is key. The Monarch Butterfly is a classic example of a sun compass user.
Yeah.
And then if you travel at night, you need different guides.
Okay.
That's where the star compass comes in. Literally an internal star map. Nocturnal migrants, like the indigo bunting, can recognize constellations, patterns in the stars to navigate through the darkness.
A star map built into their brains. It just seems amazing that so many different kinds of animals develop these complex skills. What was the big push? Why go to all that trouble?
Fundamentally, survival. Maximizing resources.
Yeah.
It's pure natural selection.
How so? Well, think about predictable problems. Winter arriving, dry seasons starting, food disappears, weather turns deadly, migration is the way out, so escape the bad times.
Right. And then there's unpredictable stuff too, like sudden droughts, fires, local food shortages. The animals that had the instinct, the drive to move away from those dangers were the ones who survived, had babies, and passed on that migratory programming. It's an insurance policy.
Makes sense. An evolutionary insurance policy. Okay, let's talk about those big drivers then. You mentioned escaping bad weather. Chasing the perfect climate must be a huge one.
Oh, absolutely. And for that, you have to talk about the ultimate sun seeker, the Arctic Tern.
Ah, the champion.
Definitely holds the record. Planet's longest migration, hands down.
And it's an unbelievable journey, isn't it? They hatch way up in the Arctic.
Right, during that brief Arctic summer.
Yeah.
But as soon as the days start getting shorter, they take off south.
Constantly heading towards whichever part of the planet is tilted towards the sun, ensuring it's always summer for them.
Exactly. They fly from the very top of the Arctic Circle all the way down to the Antarctic Circle, and then back again. Every year.
And the distances, what was it?
96,000 kilometers.
Annually. 96,000 kilometers. That's almost unbelievable. And they don't just stop for breaks, right?
Nope. They eat on the wing. They even sleep on the wing. Little power naps while gliding.
So over a 30-year lifespan, some of these birds are flying millions of kilometers.
Millions. Literally millions. The endurance, the navigation, It's just phenomenal.
Okay, shifting from air to water. Beluga whales. They also migrate to escape the cold?
They do. They live in the Arctic, but as that sea ice forms rapidly in the autumn, it's incredibly dangerous for them. They can get trapped, become, well, whale schools isn't the scientific term, but
Ha, right. A deadly situation.
totally. So they migrate south into deeper open waters to avoid getting boxed in by the ice.
And this isn't purely instinctual, is it? I read somewhere that scientists think these rights are learned.
That's the fascinating part. It seems to be cultural transmission. The older whales teach the younger ones the safe routes. It's passed down generationally within the pods, social learning for survival.
Wow. Okay, so escaping the cold is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about moving towards something good, like
Yeah.
food? That must be another massive motivator.
Huge. And the physiological commitment just to get a good meal is staggering sometimes. Think about humpback whales.
Right. They travel huge distances too.
Yeah, after breeding in warm tropical waters where there's not much food for them, they use their magnetic compass sense.
The one we talked about earlier.
Exactly. They use that to navigate maybe 5,000 kilometers north. It takes them, what, 4 to 8 weeks?
And where are they going?
To the cold, high-latitude waters. Why? Because that's where the food is.
Yeah.
Dense swarms of zooplankton, krill, small fish.
But the craziest part is the fasting, right?
It's incredible. They spend months bulking up in those northern waters. Because during the migration south, while they're breeding in the tropics, and during the migration back north, they eat almost nothing
Nothing.
for months.
Pretty much nothing. They live entirely off their blubber, those fat reserves, until they get back to the feeding grounds. It's a huge energy gamble.
Wow. Fasting for months just to breed and travel. Okay, contrast that with, say, the Wildebeest in the Serengeti. They're always moving for food, aren't they?
Constantly. It's like a perpetual loop. You've got over 1.5 million animals
1.5 billion.
in this massive circuit through Tanzania and Kenya, basically just chasing the rains, following the green grass as it springs up.
So their migration isn't strictly north-south. It's
Yeah.
wherever the food is popping up next.
Exactly. And their constant movement, driven by their own hunger, has massive knock-on effects.
Like for the predators. Yeah. Their path inevitably takes them through rivers, teeming with giant Nile crocodiles. The migration becomes a predictable, mobile feast that sustains predators all along the route. The whole ecosystem relies on that movement.
Incredible. Okay, climate, food. What's the third big driver? Reproduction.
Reproduction. And sometimes this requires the most incredibly precise timing imaginable.
Like the red crabs. Christmas Island.
Oh, the ultimate example of clock watching. Millions of them pour out of the forest, heading for the ocean to breed.
But the timing has to be perfect, doesn't it?
Insanely perfect. It's non-negotiable. They must spawn only in the last quarter of the moon,
Okay.
just as the high tide is starting to recede. And crucially, it has to be before dawn.
Wow, that specific.
That's specific. It's the only window they have. So depending on when the rains start their migration, they might have to deliberately slow down or really rush to hit that exact tidal and lunar moment.
That's pressure. Then you've got the opposite journey, right? From ocean to freshwater.
Yeah.
Yes, the famous salmon run. Millions gather in the North Pacific, then swim upstream
Against the current.
against incredibly strong currents, yeah, battling their way back to the very freshwater streams and creeks where they were born, just to spawn.
And for them, it's the end game, isn't it?
It's the ultimate sacrifice. Once they reproduce, they die. Their journey is complete. They provide nutrients for the river ecosystem, and they leave behind the next generation.
And those young salmon eventually head downstream to the ocean, starting the whole cycle over again.
Exactly, which, it does raise a point. We've mostly talked about these big seasonal north-south type migrations.
Yeah.
But not all animal movement fits that neat pattern, does it? Some are. Well, stranger.
Stranger how? Like the Monarch Butterfly? That one always blows my mind.
Right. It weighs less than a paperclip, but its migration spans entire countries. And the really wild part, it spans generations.
Yeah, explain that. It's not one butterfly making the whole trip.
No. It takes 4 distinct generations to complete one full round trip, say from southern Canada down to specific forests in Mexico and back north again.
4 generations.
So the butterfly that leaves Canada in the late summer flies south to Mexico. That's generation 1. It overwinters there. Then in the spring, it flies partway north and lays eggs. That's generation 2. That generation flies a bit further north, lays eggs generation 3. That one flies further north again, lays eggs. And that is generation 4.
The Methuselah generation, they call it sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. because that fourth generation, born way up north, is the one that makes the entire incredible flight all the way back down to those specific overwintering sites in Mexico, a place it has never, ever been.
Okay, stop. How does the great-great-grandchild butterfly know the way to a specific grove of trees thousands of kilometers south,
Yeah,
having never been there?
it has to be genetic. The map, the directions, the know-how, it's encoded, passed down instinctively. They use their sun compass, that internal clock we mentioned, with unbelievable precision. They have the route programmed in, even though they've never flown it.
Generational GPS. That's just
Right. Yeah.
wow. Okay, so from multi-generational epics to daily commutes. You mentioned jellyfish.
Yeah. The golden jellyfish in Plow's Jellyfish Lake, they have this mini migration, but they do it every single day.
What's the trip?
They follow the sun. From the east side of the lake in the morning, they slowly swim across to the west side, tracking the arc of the sun through the sky, then back again.
Why? What's the point of chasing the sun across a lake?
It's absolutely vital for their survival.
Yeah.
These jellyfish have tiny little algae called zooxanthellae living inside their tissues,
Okay, like corals do.
exactly like corals. And these little algae photosynthesize using sunlight to make food. That food provides most of the energy for the jellyfish.
Ah, so the jellyfish have to stay in the sun to feed their internal power plants.
Precisely. They need to maximize sunlight exposure for their little passengers. They even actively swim away from shadows cast by the trees around the lake edge. It might be the most dedicated daily commute on Earth.
That's amazing. A jellyfish sunbathing routine. Okay, finally, what about animals that are just always on the move? The nomads. Maybe they don't fit the strict return trip definition, but they cover huge distances.
Right, worth an honorable mention. Like the saltwater crocodile, they're super territorial, right? But sometimes, maybe 1% of young ones looking for their own territory, they just drift. They can end up roaming up to 900 kilometers across the open ocean, like giant armored drifters trying to find a new home.
Just drifting 900 kilometers hoping to bump into land. Wild. And land nomads.
Well, the champion for sheer distance covered by a land animal in 1 year seems to be the Mongolian gray wolf. Males have been tracked covering over 7,000 kilometers.
7,000. Why so far?
They're chasing their food source.
Which-
The Asiatic wild ass. These things are maybe the most mobile hoofed animals on the planet. They live in the harsh Mongolian desert steppe, and they are constantly moving, searching for patches of grazing, water, better conditions. It's not a fixed migration route, it's reactive, moment-to-moment survival.
So the wolves just have to follow this incredibly mobile prey across vast distances.
Exactly, a nomadic lifestyle dictated by their food's nomadic lifestyle.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big picture here? We've gone from magnetic fields to star maps, from Arctic terns chasing summer to red crabs chasing the moon, monarchs on a multi-generational relay.
I think the takeaway is that migration, in all its forms, is this incredibly sophisticated, deeply evolved strategy. It's life's way of maximizing opportunity, finding resources, escaping danger, ensuring reproduction across vast scales of space and time.
Yeah, the sheer complexity of the tools they use, magnetic mapping, sun compasses, star navigation, those internal clocks, the generational memory, it's just astounding. It's biology operating at peak performance.
And, there's a connection back to us, to the listener. That fundamental drive we see, adapting to change, seeking better conditions, chasing resources. It mirrors our own human story, doesn't it?
Right.
Whether it's the actual nomads sharing the desert with those wild asses, or even just our own daily migrations for work or opportunity.
That's a great point. The underlying drive is universal.
But maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about that indigo bunting, navigating by stars it somehow inherently recognizes. Or the Arctic tern using magnetic fields it's never been taught to interpret.
Yeah, the ones that have never made the trip before.
Exactly. They've never been shown the way. So what is that deep, deep biological mechanism that allows an organism to just know the precise direction, the magnetic signature, the stellar map for a 96,000-kilometer journey it's never taken?
It implies something more fundamental we don't grasp yet.
Maybe. And given how specialized these senses are, especially the magnetic sense, what else might these internal compasses be sensitive to? What other information about the environment are they picking up that we are completely unaware of right now? Makes you wonder, doesn't it?